And here I've been talking this whole time. My goodness. For 10 minutes I've been talking about what we're going to do, and I had my mic audio turned off in my broadcast software. Sorry, I apologize for that. Okay, so what we're going to do tonight is start with the M13, this globular cluster. This is the system that I use to run my automation. And thanks for giving me the feedback on the uh, on the audio there. Yeah, yep. I had it turned off. My bad. Thanks, Jim. Thanks, John. It's now should be good. That's probably why people left. They couldn't hear me. You learned a lot in that 10 minutes. So this is the the tool I use, the Sequence Generator Pro for the automation of the system. I can literally set up a sequence like this with 5, 6 objects, start it up, and the way this works out is we'll take this as an example. I can select this object. This is the coordinates, and have it slew and center on it automatically. I can tell it when to start and when to stop. I can use what's called a planning tool, so I can see when it's going to drop below my horizons, so I won't image this past a certain time. But I can select a start time and a stop time for the object, and then it'll go on to the next one in the sequence the same way. And the the automation allows me to set up 5 objects. I can go to bed while it's imaging this, but this would be the color rendering of this object that we're working on, M13 right now, using this tool called Astro Toaster. And we've got 6 frames in already, so it's already stacked 6 frames. I'm going to set the font for this to 20 so you guys can see that. So it's stacking these as they come off the camera, so the image is improving as we go. Now, again, one of the things that the system does is it will center and slew. It will then ask the auto guider to start up, which it's doing right now, and then it will also check with focus lock to see am I still in focus before it'll actually acquire the data. So it makes sure it's guiding, and it makes sure it's in focus before it starts the next frame. And then I use the Sky software sometimes for ad hoc queries. I'll just slew over to something with this, or I'll just pull up some data. But again, M13's in Hercules. It's also known as NGC 6205, which is the new general catalog. It's a favorite for astronomy at the beach as far as visual. A lot of times I'll have my 14-inch out there for the Astronomy at the Beach event, and M13 with a 13 millimeter eyepiece, and it looks really nice. It almost feels the field of view. It's very, very pretty to look at. But for visual, for a photographic, this is kind of what you get. Would not be a final image, but it would be definitely an image worth stacking later and doing some post processing on. So that's what M13 looks like in real time right now. And as you can see, we got kind of some stars down to the core, pretty good. No, I'm taking requests as well. If you have an object that we can consent on and go to, then we'll do that. I figured I'd take about 10 minutes worth of images here in this object, because then I can publish it and say this is what we all looked at on Astronomy at the Beach. But I've got a list of globulars. I don't know if you folks favor those or if you favor nebulas or galaxies, but we can try most anything. Some of the dimmer stuff would take longer to integrate and stack like this, but this is a real easy one. It's real bright, and it's pretty easy to do. You can get, like I said, you can get a single frame like this one here. Uh, just shows you the object right away in 30 seconds. But obviously, when you stack these images, it improves the signal to noise, so the noise level goes down, the quality of the images go up, and that's what we're doing tonight. Now, let me check. Yes, John, I could do the veil. In fact, that would be a good one to go after. We could do that. We could do the veil. I actually can pull the veil up in one 3 minute shot, I think. The moon is kind of bright, but we could give that a try. M27 would be an excellent one, Dale. That'd be a good one to go after. So why don't we cue that up as the next one to go after, M27, and then we can look at the veil in a little bit here. So let me do that. I'll show you how I cue these up. I'm gonna create a new target, and we're gonna call it M27. M27. So you'll see how I set these up. The simplest thing is I just go over to the Sky software. I said find M27, and then I pull the coordinates off of there. So I'm going to copy the equatorial coordinates, and I'm going to put them right in here. I'm going to paste them in, and we're going to tell it to slew and center on location. And obviously I'm going to check to see if it's up high enough. It certainly is, so it's in good shape. And we'll say okay, okay, and then I'm going to move this up to be the next thing we're going to work on. And now I have to set it up to be how long exposures I want to take. I think I'll take 1 minute exposures to start with, and we'll take about 15 minutes worth of there, and we'll see what that looks like. So once I've set that, I can go to this one, M13, and I'm going to drop this down to 15 shots, and it's going to be done as soon as this frame is done. It's starting frame 15 right now. As soon as that's done, it's going to go over to M27. So we'll just let it run. And at the same time, which side of the veil would you like, John? The eastern or the western? Okay, there it goes. It's slewing now. It's going to M27. So that'd be 6992, correct? I'll just verify that. So we're on M27 now. It's about to center it. There it goes. It's taking a reference frame. It's taking a 20-second exposure. Actually, it's only taking a 5-second exposure. Now it's going to plate solve that exposure. And now it's comparing it to the database. And it's a little bit off, only 350 pixels, which is about 170 arc seconds, or about 3 arc minutes. And it's going to center it back within 100 pixels, which is 50 arc seconds. I've got the limits on there to 100 pixels, but it was only off by 350 pixels, so it was pretty close. It's in the field of view, but I want it to be within 100 pixels of center. So it's going to take care of that right now. And now it should be starting the auto guider. Let's see if it picks up an auto guide. Yep, the auto guider is about to start. There it goes. It found a star it wants to guide on. And the guiding has started. And it is integrating the first frame of M27. We're running a gain of 240 right now on this camera. And I've got this set up to take 15 minutes. Now that that's going, I'm going to change my Astro Toaster to stack this object. And we'll just go over here to settings. And we'll say browse. And we'll go down here to M27, today's date. Say OK. Apply changes. And then we're going to say monitor, stack, and refresh. So as the images come in, it'll start to work on those. So the first image is about to finish. Downloading it. There it is. There's a 1 minute shot. This is in black and white on SG Pro because they don't convert it to color on the fly. That's why I'm using Astro Toaster to do that. So Astro Toaster is going to come up with a color rendering here. But as you can see, in 1 minute, we can get M27 with a nice little central star there. And looks pretty nice. There's the color image of the first frame. As you notice, it is a bit noisy, but it will get better as it stacks more of them. So that's the first 1 minute frame, and that looks pretty nice, pretty nice. So in 1 minute, you can get M27 with this system easily. I have not attached any flats or any darks to this image. This is the raw image just converted to color. So we'll take a few more of those until you guys get tired of looking at it. But if you watch it in about 5 minutes, the image will get better, be less noisy. I can actually apply darks and flats to this. In fact, that'll be an interesting experiment. Looks like my guiding slipped a little bit during the dither, but that's okay. It'll recover. The system also does a recover. If my guiding gets out more than, in fact, right now it's telling me it's dithering or it's waiting for the auto guider to settle down here. As soon as it hits 0.8, it'll start the next frame, and it just did. So, and you can see over here in the graph, it came close to 0 again before it started back up. So the system's kind of self-correcting. I'm using the ASI ZWO71 MC Pro, one-shot color. And actually, my guide camera is a one-shot color too. People said you can't do that with my guiding system, but I can. So it's a one-shot color. It's cooled. I've got it sitting at 0 degrees centigrade right now. Over here, that's what it tells me. I'm at 0 degrees right there. My focuser is sitting at 4,000 counts, which the range of my focuser is 0 to 7,000, which is just a little bit past midpoint. I actually had to put all this back together in the last couple of days because I had it up north with me. Okay, you're right, John. The term dark frames, what we do with these cameras is we'll We'll cover the cameras up, and we'll take what's called dark frames, or we'll take frames that look like they're going to be dark for the same time, exposure time, and the same temperature, and the same gain as our light frames. What you're seeing on screen are my light frames, okay? What we're doing with the dark frames is we're capturing the static noise, thermal noise, and regular read noise of the camera so that we can subtract that noise out of our light frames. And that basically lowers the noise floor. The flats are used to capture the optical artifacts that are in the optical train, like dust donuts. We get little specks of dust on some of the pieces of optics that are near the focal point, and they create little donuts. Some little ones, if they're further away from the focal plane, they'll be bigger donuts. Well, or you have vignetting around the edges of the image, okay? And what the flats do is capture those artifacts, and we use those flat frames to subtract those artifacts out of the image as well. So that's what those two are about. Hi, Dale Teamy. So if you have noticed, we've now stacked 4 of these, and actually the noise is getting a little less because we're dithering and we're stacking the images. I'm going to apply calibration files here. So we got dark frames. I'm taking 1 minute light. So I'm going to go to my 1 minute dark frames here that I took back in June. So we'll use those. Those are my dark frames for this process. And then, oh, it probably is, Paul, but I can't really tell. I mean, this image looks really nice. I haven't even stretched this image, and it's coming back stacking really nicely. I mean, this is the raw data, and this is the stack data. So I couldn't tell you whether it's affecting it or not. So flats from, let's see. Need to find my other flats here. The flats that I took up at the Great Lakes Star Grazed. Oh, I haven't taken flats yet. Now that I can't apply. I don't have any flats for this optical setup right at the moment because I didn't take them today. So every time you change your optical system, you know, like you take the camera off and you clean some dust off and you put the camera back on, you just change the optical system. So you have to take new flats every time you do that. If you clean it or you reattach it a little differently, you have to take new flats. And I haven't done that. I put everything back together today, and I haven't taken new flats, so I can't apply the flats. But the darks will be good. And actually, if you look at this, I don't see any problems with this. I haven't even stretched this data yet. So yeah, that looks just fine, just the way it is. This tool will let me do a color adjust, and it maybe it's already done it. Let me press the auto exposure here. Yeah, it adjusted it already to some degree, but as you can see, I don't have much in the way of dust donuts. Zoom it in a little bit. I'm gonna do something here. I'm gonna go ahead and have it recalibrate the darks. And let me check to see where we're at in our exposures. At 50, we're in number 6. We're on number 7 now. So we only got another 10 minutes to go before, and I'm going to set that up while this calibration is going on. Let's go to NGC 6992. Find in center. Is that the side I want? 6992. Yep, that's the eastern one. So I can't take. John, I can't take the whole thing at once. Botanical, I use both. I use a flat screen, and I also use sky flats. So I do both. They both work. Just have to be careful about the exposure. You want to get the flats around in the 20,000 ADU point. What was I going to do? Oh yeah, I was going to go this one. Let's copy the equatorial coordinates. 6992. I'm going to go here. Add this one. Plate Solve 2 from PlaneWave. It's built into SG Pro. Make sure I got the right ones here. Yeah, looks like that's the right one. Okay, want to center and slew. And okay. We're going to go with 2 minutes on that. So Dale Wilson, I use SG Pro comes with the Plate Solve 2 engine from PlaneWave. It works really nicely. And we're going to set that up. That'll be the next one to go. All right, your Eastern Vale's on the list there, John. Now, it's only going to get this section here. If you guys can see this, hopefully. I know the text is small, but I'm going to zoom in here. This rectangle is my field of view of my camera and my 10-inch. So the best I could do is somewhere in the middle here, or I can build a mosaic, which I've done before. In fact, I could show you some of that work. But if you want to see some of my work, go to my Flickr.com account, and you can see some of my work there. But in any case, so I don't have a big field of view. It's only 40 arc minutes on the long side and 27 arc minutes on the short side. And I can get the first quarter moon in there, but I can't get a full moon in there. So that's the only downside with that. So NGC, your Eastern Vale's next up on the list as soon as 27 completes, which is only 6 minutes away. Let's see how we're doing here. Have I got that calibration done? Yes, I do. Let's turn this back on and we'll stack the rest of it now. Hopefully it'll stack the rest. Sometimes the Astro Toaster doesn't work real well. It gets a little goofy. So my guiding is getting a little choppy there, I notice. So I'm going to up this to 3 seconds. Might be a little too aggressive right now. Well, we can do the ring. It's a little small, but you know, that's something we could do. We're going to go to the veil next though. And that, so we can put the ring on the next on the list. People like color. I understand. Okay, my guiding's gotten a little less choppy now. Got a little bit of glow here. That's from the moon. There's a dust donut right there. Oh boy, I have to take my flats when I'm done here tomorrow. so I can get rid of some of that. But I can darken that up a little bit, and they'll just disappear. You can do a lot in post processing to take care of artifacts and things like that. So it's got 9 stacked. You notice the noise level's got a little better. It's not quite as noisy. Now dumbbell. Oh, here's another tool that I use as well. I'll show you this. Sometimes I'll use this tool to make a plan for the night. It's called telescopius.com. And you can go here and select your targets. I want these sky objects. I can set it so that, it's over 10 degrees for at least an hour, over 20 degrees for at least an hour. Let's say 20 degrees for at least an hour. And at least 10 degrees or 20 degrees away from the moon. Let's say that's what we want. And then I can pick what objects I want. Galaxies, diffuse nebula, and bright nebula. And let's say globular clusters. One of the things I actually like doing is galaxy clusters. And there's a lot of diffuse nebula in Cygnus and Sagitta in the Milky Way area, and I did a little bit of that when I was up north. I was able to take 10-minute subframes and got some nice stuff there. Tulip Nebula was one I did as well. The Abell clusters, which are clusters, usually clusters of galaxies, are kind of fun to get. And I could show you an example of one of my galaxy cluster pictures here. And let's see here. Oh, come on. Let's go to Perseus A. That's what I want. Perseus A cluster. Yep, 12. This is an example of one of the clusters that I imaged back last year around January 2019. Every one of these circles is a galaxy in this field of view. And this is the actual photograph. So most of these orange-looking things are galaxies, and when you plate solve them, when you use a plate solver, this is what you get. There's also, for those who are asking about plate solving, there's also a plate solver in PixInsight, which is the processing software I use. So this is kind of fun to take stuff like this. This was 360 minutes of data here. Oh, thank you. I had, yes, I did. I shut it off to cough, and then I forgot to turn it back on. So, okay, now I have to go back up and figure out which one I was talking about. Okay, for um, I use. I don't know if I talked about the screen and sky flats. I use both of those. Both work. Plate solving is plate solve 2. SG Pro has plate solve 2 from PlaneWave in it, and so it's part of the engine. Yeah, I got. Yeah, it's back now. It's back now. It should be good now. I muted myself to cough, and I forgot to unmute myself. Okay, we're now slewing over to the Vale. Yep, it's just past the meridian. What I was showing you here on the background of my Windows display is the Vale that I've taken in the past. It's just kind of the same thing we're going to be shooting at. That's what I was kind of talking about there. Oh, me and my audio. Boy, I gotta keep track of that. Yeah, yeah, my bad again. So the other plate solving I use is in PixInsight. When I showed that cluster galaxies, that was the Perseus A galaxy cluster, and I like taking galaxy clusters. That's the reason I showed that one that I showed you just previous. And the plate solve I used there was in PixInsight has a plate solver as well for annotation. Okay, so we slewed to the Vale. We're only off by 280 pixels, which is about uh, 280 would be 140 arc seconds. So a little over 2 arc minutes off center. We're just going to bring it back within 50 arc seconds. IC 342 is familiar. So you missed the part where I was talking about the telescopius. I wasn't. Wow. All right, IC. Let's take a look at that. I'll use that as an example for this. IC 342. IC 342. Yeah, I've actually worked this galaxy. This is a tough one. This is a tough one. It's big too. And I've actually imaged this one, but we could do this or we could do the fireworks galaxy. Which would you prefer? Fireworks galaxy would well, I could do this. I'd have to take 5-minute exposures on this galaxy to bring it out though, because it's a tough one. Let me see what I got for an example here. IC 342. Process pictures. Yep, I do have one here. And I took data on it for 3 nights, it looks like. 12 hours of data. Yep. 294 by 3 minutes. This is 14 hours of data on that I've already done. So there's my IC 342 you were asking about, Jim. Got some gradient artifacts in it, but it came out. This is 14 hours of data here. So there's an example of, and this one was 12 hours of data, 12 hours and 40 minutes to get that galaxy. So you can see it's doable, but it takes a lot of data to get it to get it. This is 4 nights of data here. So yeah, I've got a bit of a portfolio already built up over time here. All right, so this is our first veil that's come back, and I got it stretched. You can see there's a little bit in there, right? So we're going to bring Astro Toaster back up and change our. We'll stop this, and we're going to change our stacking software to look into that folder now. Let's see here, NGC 6992. Should be right here, Eastern Veil tonight. As you notice, I've got Eastern Veil in here several other nights, including this month. Or, yeah, I've actually taken some images of it over the last month. But anyhow, so we'll pull that one up. That's kind of why I've made that a little more unique, so I could pull it out directly. And we'll go ahead and monitor and stack and refresh, since we already got one frame in there. And I'm taking 2-minute frames. I think I should be taking 3-minute frames here, but we'll see. See how this stacks up. Let's see here. We'll see what comes back here when it gets this first one in there. I don't remember what I took on the old ones, but I can check. I can check. I have data to support it. Let's see here. Six nine nine two. Yeah, I was taking. It looks like I was taking 2-minute shots. Yep. 2-minute shots. Okay. It's back in June. This is a panorama from July of 3 years ago. Got a lot of this stuff. Looks like 2 minutes was the sweet spot for most. Well, I took some 5-minute ones here. That was a little too much, maybe. But we'll see. 2 minutes. We could probably go 3. Oh, you know, I got the wrong darks in there. No, I didn't put any darks in there. Okay, let's up this to 3 minutes. 180 seconds. They get dim like this, you have to do a little bit of work to get them up and running here. Let me shut off this guy. And let's see here. I'll do a little magic here on the processing to see what it does. But this is 2 frames. There we go. So I made it a little brighter, but this is 2 frames stack. You notice the noise floor is pretty significant, but you can still get some filaments in there. Nope, I don't have a filter wheel, John. I don't have any way of doing that remotely. If I had a filter wheel, I could do that, but I don't. So I don't know. I think just taking some exposures and stacking them, it'll be good enough. Oh, 03, you know, one of the things that the guys up when we were up at Great Lakes Stargaze talked about is Ani suggested I get an L extreme filter for the nights that the moon's out, so I can cut down on that light pollution and still get some stuff. I might buy that filter and put it in place instead of my UV IR cut filter, and that's a possibility. And maybe get a little single filter, a frame drawer that I can pop that in there. But you know, I guess the point it would be is that you can get these objects in one shot if you wanted to by just taking a 2 or 3 minute exposure of something like this. But if you want to get something that's a little bit more, you have to stack some more data. We've got it's working on stacking the 3rd frame now. It's funny, I'm listening to the audio off the camera that's in the observatory, my near IR camera. I can hear I can hear animals walking by the observatory. So that's the veil, an example of it. We don't have to go half an hour on it, but as I showed you with the background that I've got on here, it it can uh, it can get pretty nice looking here. We'll just kind of move this stuff out of the way. So that's what it would look like if I went oh, I don't know, 30 minutes probably. So that's what it would look like, similar to that. But the raw data just looks like this. It's a raw image file, and we're stretching the data here to get the color. We're getting the color, and we're stretching it to get the contrast. So I'll back this out a little bit. There we go. Now you can see the full frame that I'm looking at. So, a galaxy. I was thinking the fireworks galaxy is one we could go after, and add that to the list for tonight. So let me do that. In fact, I'll use this tool to do that. Uh, Show you how that works. What's in the sky tonight? Come over here, and we'll look up NGC 6946, and we're going to set that to a. Let me see if I've got this on a list already. I may have it already on a list. 6946. No, I don't. So we're going to put it on a list of its own. We'll create a new one. Create that. Then we'll pull it up in our toolbox, say observing list. GC 6946 for astronomy at the beach. We'll take that list and we're going to add it to this sequence over here by saying File, Import Target, telescopius.list, and I'm going to put that URL in and say OK. And I'm going to tell it to go ahead and set to there. It'll automatically slew and wait for it to say OK. It's downloading it now. Okay, we've just added to our list here. I'll scroll down and you'll see it's the fireworks galaxy's been added to our list. So now I go here, got the coordinates already. Already says we're going to slew. Just check the planning tool. We're in good shape. Going to be up for a while. Say okay. Okay. And then we got to set up what we want to take for exposure. So we're going to do illuminance. This is going to take a bit, so I'm going to say let's go at least 3 minutes for individual exposures, 180 seconds. And let's take 5 to start. I'll set it to 10 and we'll stop if we get bored with it. So that's 30 minutes. But we don't have to do that all that long. And now you've got the veil. Again, this is live, coming right off the camera. I'm actually not doing any processing. There's a dust donor right there. I'll have to take my flats to get rid of that. But pretty much clean, pretty clean. Pretty clean image. I'm going to increase the black a little bit. There we go. I'm happy with that. Stars look good out in the corners. System's ready to go for the next month, except for the fact that I'm going to probably take it up to Boone in less than 2 weeks. I got scouts coming up for the weekend of the 9th, and I want to show them how this imaging stuff is done, and also give them some views through the 18-inch as well. So that's the plan in another 2 weeks. Okay, everybody had enough of the veil? Actually, somebody wanted M57 as well, so we'll go take a look at the ring here. That's what I'll do next, and then we'll get over to the fireworks. So let me put that in the queue again. Let's see, what do we got here? Oh, I already got one. I'll just use M57 right here. We'll go to list, and we'll pull that one in. Now I'll import it right into here using this import process. Import telescope list, and this will be the items M57. Yep, I want you to slew and center. Okay, it's imported in. Take this, and we'll put that in front of the fireworks, and just verify on the planning tool that it's up long enough. Yeah, we're not going to be there for very long, so that'll be good. And now I need to set the exposure, and this is a pretty simple one. We're only going to go 30-second exposures to start with, and we'll do, I don't know, 15 of those, or yeah, we'll do 20 of those, which is going to be 10 minutes worth of data. So that'll be the next one up. And as soon as we're tired of the veil, we'll move on to M57. Veil looks pretty nice, actually. Stars are good. Everything's good tonight. I was really surprised how well it went together. I put all the cameras, the on-axis guiding port, the cameras, and had to pull our line tonight because I had the scope torn down for the trip. So I pulled our line to this evening at around 8 something, and that took like 5 minutes with the pull master, and then I had to focus the primary camera, and that once I got that, I checked the secondary camera, which is the guide camera. I didn't have to touch it. I slapped it back together, and they were perfect. I told my wife, I says, something's wrong here. Everything went fine. Okay, so we'll go on to we're going to go on to the M57 now. And I'll just change this veil down to, which, are we on the 6th one already? Yeah, as soon as the 6th frame's done. And it'll slew the M57 next, the ring nebula. Okay. So we'll take another peek at this. Any other questions right now? Boy, my guiding went kind of choppy over here. But it's smoothed out again. It's really goofy how that works out. Yeah, Murphy's on vacation. Yeah. Oh, there goes. Got a nice little spike there. See, it warned me. I've got this set up if the guiding goes out more than 2 pixels, it throws that frame away and restarts it. And that's what this warning, event warning is here in SG Pro. So it saw that spike. It says, "Oop, that's no good. We'll throw that frame away and we'll start it again." So it's waited for the dither to happen for it to settle and started the frame again. And I don't know why I get these spikes, but I noticed today actually was balancing the mount, both deck and RA, that the deck seems a little stiff, even though I had the clutches loose. So I've had this mount now not quite 4 years, almost 4 years. I may have to pull it apart and do some cleaning or some adjustments on it. I've been leery of doing that because it's been working so well. I didn't really want to mess with it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. So that's kind of fun. But usually the system recovers on its own and everything, so that in the morning when I get out of bed and I come down and look at the data, almost every frame's fine. The only time a frame is bad is or I may not use it is if it gets too much cloud cover. It still may be able to catch the guiding camera and keep the data acquisition going. But then I might decide, well, I'll only use 80% of it. But usually got 100% of them. Yeah, my deck is having problems now. I see that. Wonder if it's getting windy. I hear a little bit of wind. Yeah, my declination is having some problems. Okay, Murphy just showed up, Dale. I have a lot of backlash in the deck. It's like 40 pixels. The one of the things in the PhD2, it's got a guiding assistant. You can have it look at that. It told me I'm very close to my pole, so I'm in good shape there. But it also told me it had about 40 pixels of backlash in the deck, which is 20 arc seconds, and that could be what this is that it suddenly drifts off the one gear tooth and onto the other one or towards the other one. It takes a little bit of time to get it back in there. So that's possibly what's going on. It's floating a little bit. But like I said, the system's automated to the point where really 100% of the frames that I download in the morning are good because it throws all the bad ones away. It's going to throw this one away again. It's having a serious problem with this one. So we're gonna we're gonna circumvent this 6th exposure here. Let's see if this. We'll move on to the next one. It's waiting for the auto guider to settle now. This is one of those cases where a upgrade from Los Monte might be useful. They've got a single block. Yeah, it's going to take the 6th frame anyways. Let's see if we can get it to finish this 6th frame here. If not, I'll start the sequence and I'll start it up again. It's real simple. But actually, the interesting thing that it just demonstrated is when there's a problem, it keeps trying to get good data and throw bad data away. That's one of the reasons why I get such good data in a night run. Is the automation takes care of a lot. I've got it tweaked. I've got it tuned to give me good data as often as possible. Yeah, we had 32 people online. which is a good turnout. This session's being recorded, obviously, on YouTube, so just to let you know, including the parts where I had my audio off, which is unfortunate, but that's okay. Are there any questions anybody has while we're doing this? I'm trying to get through this last frame before we go on to M57. Oh, one of the fun things this year was the comet. I want to Neowise. Oops. That one I had to kind of go mobile for to get wide field shots because I couldn't see it with my. Yeah, here we go. This was probably the best Neowise Comet Neowise I got, and that was with a 120 or a 75 millimeter lens at f4, and I was up at my Boone Hill Observatory. There's a 9 90-second shots stacked on the core of the comet, so there's slight trail on the stars, but the comet's solid. So that was kind of fun. Looks like we're just about done on this one. 5 seconds left. Yep, looks like we'll make it. So we'll get our 6th frame there. And we're going to the Ring Nebula now. Hopefully. Yep, there it goes. All right. It's completed the slew to the ring. And it's going to plate solve this guy now. So let's see here. Stack of 6 as soon as it finishes this. And we've slewed to M57, and we're now going to plate solve to center it. Actually, this has been pointing pretty close to it. I mean, if we're within 50 arc seconds or 150 arc seconds, that's pretty good. The system's pointing well, even without plate solving. And I don't have a model or anything, so we're really close to the pole. We're doing real well with that. Now this will call me a liar and tell me I'm off by 4,000 counts, but that's... Anyhow, so we had 6 frames of 3 minutes, 2 minutes for a couple of them, and the rest were 3 minutes, so that's what we got for the veil. And it is now resuming the auto guider. By the way, when it slews, it shuts the auto guider down, and then it starts it back up once it's centered. It must have plate solved on the first pass because I didn't see a failure, which means it pointed really well. And I think I've got the system set up so that as it goes around the sky, it builds a model so it gets more accurate through the night as it's going around. Okay. And let's see, did it start the first one? Yeah, we're doing 30-second frames, so there's your Ring Nebula right there. Raw data in 30 seconds. Even has the central star at 30 seconds. Looks like we got a little bit of oblong stars right now, which means my guiding must not be all that great. But there's the Ring Nebula in full frame. Let's see here. I need to change the, yes, this guy. There we go, change the settings in this. Browse to M50 or the Ring Nebula. And we'll start stacking that one. Take a look at that. And then we'll do this for 5-10 minutes, and then we'll go on to the fireworks galaxy. Pull that one in. There we go. There's the first image in color. That's my WebEx message coming up every 15 minutes. Do I want to continue the WebEx? If you look at my YouTube channel, my live broadcast, the WebEx link is actually there. You can come in and chat with me if you wanted to. Sometimes some guys do. Bob Keller and Andy Weeks. They'll come in. Yeah, we got four images stacked already. You notice the image is getting better as we stack. Their guiding has settled down really nicely. I'll zoom in a little bit here. Again, I think these were our 30-second shots, aren't they? Yep, 30 seconds. You can get these in a real short period of time, these brighter nebulas. Again, this is the raw data, and this is stacked. Now, let's see what we set this up for. We set this up for 10 minutes. Yeah. So in 10 minutes, we'll be slewing to the fireworks galaxy. And we'll work on that one. So as you can see, you can set up a run for the night and get a lot of data on a lot of objects. Or you can do what I did up north. I picked one object and ran 8 hours on one object for the entire night, but I had 6 nights to work with. So one night I took 4 hours on one object and about 4 hours on another object in one night because of when they rose and set. But Dale, does that meet your? Let's see, I think it was Dale asked for Ring Nebula. Yep. Does that meet your requirements, Dale? 30 seconds may actually be too long because it's pretty washed out. Could almost go with lower gain. I think I'm running 240. The other thing I could do is, there you go. Okay, good. And then Jim asked for the firework. Actually, he asked for 342. We could do 342, but it'll take a long set of data to get something useful out of it. Actually, we could do Stefan's Quintet or the Deerlick group, as a matter of fact, tonight as well. I did the Deerlick group last week. Um, Actually, it was just this last Monday. It was my last Sunday night. Sunday night, I came home on Monday. I don't know if you guys saw I blasted it everywhere, so you probably already saw some of the stuff I did, but I can go through that real quick. My my run last week, while we're doing oops, and close this guy. This was from my run last week. This is where I was set up. That's the Cocoon Nebula, the Iris Nebula. That's a different processing of the core of the Iris. NGC 891. Short time on the crescent on the Sunday. Only had 2 hours before the clouds rolled in the first Sunday. And then here's the Deerlick group. This is NGC 7331, and there's all these little galaxies around it. Then this was my bubble nebula. And then this was the Tulip Nebula. So that was from the run last week. Got a lot of data. We had, like I said, we had really 6 clear nights that were usable out of 8. The other 2 nights it was just a lot of smoke, haze. 2 nights, so I didn't get anything on those nights. You could hardly even see Vega, for that matter. So it's 11 frames out of 12. So about 6 minutes of data collected there. Again, this is just some quick auto processing through this tool called Astro Toaster. I'll take this data and I may process it in PixInsight and to get some final images, but this is a useful tool. Astro Toaster is actually a layered product on top of Deep Sky Stacker's Live View. And when I say it's a layered product, it has this panel right here for color adjustment. So you can do a little rudimentary processing. I could change the white balance, just zoom it up like this. Or I can change the black background, zoom it up like that. But you can hit the auto exposure and it kind of balances it for you. I like a little darker background. Kind of like that. We are on frame of, let's see, 16. Should be almost done with this. Yeah, we got 2 more minutes to go, and then we're going to be on to the fireworks galaxy. So this is the ring. So tonight we've done M13, the globular clustering Hercules, M27, the dumbbell nebula in the Vulpecula, done the segment of the Eastern Veil in Cygnus, and now we're doing the ring nebula in Lyra. Then we'll be going to the fireworks galaxy, which, if I recall, is in Cepheus. Let me see here. Yeah, 6946 in Cepheus. Oh, I have worked this galaxy before, and I'll show you an example. There's an example of the fireworks galaxy that we're going to go to. Which I've worked over the last 3 years. Several different permutations and acquisitions. And the reason I was working it a lot is there was a supernova in it back in May of 2017, which I was tracking. So I was taking images of it every week. Oh, I noticed there's an asteroid moving through there. Interesting. Or other artifacts. There's the supernova shot right there. I like imaging supernovas, tracking them. But we'll see what we can do in live mode, where we just basically collect data and see how it stacks up. And this will be going there in a couple of minutes here, pretty soon. I think I got one more frame to go. Yep, I'm done. So we're heading to 6946 now. And it's past meridian, so we're still on the east side. Or we're still, the scope is still on the east side. So we're heading west. Plate solve this. Audio still good? Just checking. Yeah, it's a little off. 500 pixels. Not bad. Yeah, okay. So the ring nebula is done stacking. And we can go ahead and close that. Focus on this guy here. It's plate solving right now. Okay, it's centered and it's going to resume the auto guider. And it has a star to guide on. Ooh, it picked one out there in the edge. That's interesting. Surprised it did that. That's okay. Let's see what the focus is doing here. Focus is yellow, which is still good. I could get a little concerned about it picking a guide star out on the edge, because if the field of view is not flat, it may change the focus when I don't want it to. But looks like it's going to hold it there. And the focuser's still at 39.56. Focus will change over time with the uh, temperature change. So it's changed 150 counts, which works out to be, well, it's 1.5 millimeters. So it's not trivial, but did move it. Turn this guy off. So it's acquiring the first 3-minute shot, and we're on the fireworks galaxy. We'll have to wait until the first frame comes back. Yes, I can, but it's going to be really tiny. I'm only running prime focus, which is 2,000 millimeter. We can give it a shot, though. I really need to put a triple 3x Barlow in there to get it up to around 6,000 millimeter for the planets, but I don't have one. So it'll be like looking through a 10-inch f8 Newtonian with a 50 millimeter lens. That's about what it'll look like. Be pretty tiny, but we can give it a shot here. Let's see, where am I going here? This guy? Yeah, right here. Apply changes. Okay. Guiding settled down quite a bit. Down less than an arc second. About half an arc second, actually. RMS is, total RMS is 0.47. Yeah, it'd be nice if I had I could put a double or a 2x or 3x Barlow automatically, slide it in place for like the planets. But I'd have to actually take the on-axis guiding port off. I'd have to put the a couple of rings back on. To get any magnification, or put a eyepiece projection in place, which I don't have the tools for that. So anyhow, here's the first first shot coming back from the 6946, and there's the first frame in Astro Toaster. So you can pick it up in 3 minutes, but it's pretty noisy. And again, we're shooting a galaxy with the moon up, although the moon is probably heading down right now. So I don't know how much you want to see in this galaxy, but I would think we'd want to take at least a couple of frames, and then maybe we can go shoot over to Mars and see what Mars looks like. Jim Forrester, you still there? Because Jim asked for the fireworks, so I'm just wondering if he's still there. Well, I'm assuming he's not. Well, let's get at least 3 frames on this guy. 9 minutes worth of data. Should show you the full frame that I'm taking too. I had this kind of zoomed in there. There we go. There we go. That's the full frame. System's working pretty good tonight. Oop, got a little. I spoke too soon. Got a little bit of bump on my guider there. Looks like it hit 4 arc seconds. I'm surprised the system hasn't thrown that out. Should throw it out at 3 arc seconds. So. Okay. I don't think we got the sec. Yeah, we got the sec one in. All right. But the guiding's kicked off. Yep. Come back now. That's amazing. It does that so dramatically. We're stacking it. Okay, we got 2 of them stacked in here. We'll see if we'll get one more out of that, and then we'll go over to Mars. Can you guys see the, when I light it up with the IR camera, can you see the scope up there out in the observatory? Just want to make sure it should be in the lower right-hand corner of the display. So you can get an idea of what it looks like there. Yep, we'll head to Mars next. One of the other tools I use is the weather from Astrospheric. I'll show it to you here. Gives you an idea of it clear, transparency, and seeing. So right now, it says the transparency is below average, the seeing is below average. So it's not a great night, but it is clear. So it allows us to do some stuff. Tomorrow night, the transparency will be cloudy, even though it says it's clear, which means that we may have some high cirrus and stuff like that. But if you look at it in this mode, you can watch how the clouds are going to pass by over time. So we're at Saturday at 4 in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're going to get clouded over for part of the day, and it may not be clear tomorrow night. May or may not be. We'll see. If it's not clear, I'll still be presenting for about a half hour to an hour. Basic astrophotography processing. It's kind of like the talk I'm going to give for the 7 ponds next month. So that's kind of the plan for tomorrow night. If it's cloudy, is I'll be doing a little presentation on basic processing. All right, so we did get the third one. Okay, the third one's going to stack here. I think we're going to go on to Mars. That one I'll do more manual. So let's go to Mars. I'm going to pause the sequence and we're going to abort that one there. Say okay. So we've stopped acquiring data on Fireworks Galaxy, but that gives you an idea. We got it's going to process the third one, but there you go. There's 3 frames stacked, and you notice the signal to noise gets better as you stack these guys. So that's pretty good. Tomorrow at 9:30. I'm scheduled to do a live broadcast at 9:30 tomorrow night. So let's go to Mars now. And I'm going to use a different tool for Mars. We're going to use SharpCap for, well, no, I'm going to use ASI. So we're going to go to Mars. And at this point, I'm going to have to turn off my cooler because I have to disconnect the camera from this tool and use ASI cap for the other one. So we'll do that right now. And we're going to say, let's go to Mars. And I'm going to use the Sky software to do it this time. So I need to connect the Sky to the telescope, which is what I'm going to do now. And as soon as it's connected, it's connecting. Connecting. Okay, and now I'm going to tell it to slew to Mars. Center. And slew. Yes, I want to go there. Alright, so it's going to have to do a meridian flip to get there. Oh, the guiders didn't shut off. You can see in the lower right-hand corner, the scope is slewing to it right now. Ooh. Is it really that low? Interesting. Is that right? Find. Center. We're not centered on it. Let's press the slew again. The Sky thinks it's one place. Let's see here. Yep, it's not in the field of view. It's interesting that it's doing that. That's pretty peculiar why that isn't slewing there. Well, that's perplexing. We'll do it the other way then. We're going to do it the old-fashioned way here. Let's see here. I'm going to use the slow motion controls to do this. Turn this gain down. No, Paul, I haven't tried fire cap. I'm trying to figure out why I'm not pointing in the right direction on the sky here. Can't believe that that would be Mars. I don't think so. Doesn't seem right. But then again, it's a small object in this camera, or in this setup. Yeah, it's off in the. I might even be looking through trees. So it's pretty low right now. So I see the moon off to the south in my observatory camera. I see it right at the top there. Yeah, it's above my horizon, but not by much. Interesting here. I wonder if I'm looking through trees. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Let me take this. I have to shut this camera off. Let's see if I can get this to center it on here. See what this does. Nope. Gotta turn that on first. Yeah, I don't usually use this for. I usually don't use this for planetary, and it's actually a little too early for it. I think it's in my trees right now. So I'm gonna wait on this one. Cat's eye, 64, 543. I was hoping that the guy with the Celestron would show you the planets tonight. I don't know if he was there or not. The cat's eye is pretty small, John. Cat's eye is pretty small. Let's see, we got this one. It's off in the west too. Okay. Still high enough that I can go after it. Okay, that should be close. See what happens here. Yeah, our Colorado buddy's on. Missed you at Great Lakes Stargaze. We had a good time. About 10 of us there. In fact, Ron Shank showed up. That was great to see him. And he brought his deviled eggs too. Yum. Boy, this thing's pointing pretty good tonight. Except for Mars. Yeah, we're only 600 pixels off. That's 300 arc seconds, 5 arc minutes. That's not much at all. It just made a major slew too. Yeah, John and Paul, if you wanted to get on my WebEx, come in here and chat. Uh, 10 pixels. Why did it? Yeah, okay. We're centered. Good. Let's go ahead and start this guy up. Do I have the sequence ready? Let's see here. Yeah, I think so. We're done with these. Turn that one off. What do I want to take here? Luminance. Let's take 30-second shots. Let's do 15 of those to start with and see what we get. Yeah, see, it's pretty tiny. That's the plate solve. It's just this little tiny thing right there. I'm going to drop the gain on this guy. Yep, I'll do it when it's done. Yeah, I came and spent one night and then went home the next day. Stayed with Joe. Joe brought his famous chicken. Ron Burrows brought his wonderful chicken noodle soup. Boy, I tell you, he told you can bring that every year. And he brought some chili. And then Dennis brought some chili. So we had plenty to eat. My new trailer's got a freezer, so I brought frozen dinners. So we'll see what this looks like. It's really tiny in this prime focus at 2000 millimeter. See what it looks like. 30 seconds might be too long at this gain. Might have to drop it down to for the internal section. I know this cat's eye's got stuff out there outside. Yeah, I can zoom in. Certainly can. See, that's overexposed, I think. Yeah. Actually, maybe not. There we go. That's what it looks like, the raw data looks like. That's not in color though. So we'll keep an eye on this. This is the cat's eye. And let me see what I can do with this one here. I can change the settings on this guy as well. Let me see here, where is it? Color adjust. Let me bring this over here. Turn the brightness down a little bit. It's a really tiny object. We're stacking away 30-second shots. I think that's about as far as I can zoom in with this tool. You can stretch this guy a little bit, I think. There we go. This is one of those with all, it's probably best to work on it post-processing. I will say that as the stacks are coming in, the image itself is getting smoother. Yeah. I might actually be taking too long exposures. I don't know. But there you go. The cat's eye. Obviously, I'm not going to get all the elements outside there, the outside section that Struble gets because I'm not running narrowband. Pull out the oxygen. Just one shot color. But for a live stack, that's not too bad. I'm really zoomed in here. I mean, if we look at the original, that thing's this little dot right here. We're zoomed in on that little dot here. In fact, I'm looking at that and say the optics are performing rather well considering how zoomed in we are. These stars are nice and round, which is good. And we're over halfway through. Let's go another. Let's go 30. Go 15 minutes on this, just for grins. I'm taking 30-second shots. I can throw that into Pix Insight and maybe pull a little bit out of it. That's without any flats or darks as well. But that gives you an idea of the size of the thing. Is that this is 40 arc minutes across, and this is 27 minutes arc minutes across. I mean, that thing is tiny. It's just really small in this field of view. Okay, what's next on the list? I said I would go 30 minutes until midnight for those who wanted to stay. We got another 30 plus minutes that we could work on a couple other things. Let's see here. Boy, the guiding's really good now. Of course, we're in the north. It's always good in the north. Keep an eye on this guy while I'm looking for something else. Actually, let me see what this sharpen does to this. I don't know if it really changed any. Yeah, it's working on it. Yeah, a little sharpen it up a little bit. You get a little bit of the features in the center there. Let me run the sharpen some more. See what it looks like. Yeah, that might be too much. Yeah. Anyhow. Well, we could try to look at a part of Andromeda. I can't fit even a quarter of it in there. Or I could go after 110. Actually, maybe M33. We could do M. Nah, that's too low yet. It's, well, not really too low, but yeah, M33 is 68 arc minutes is too big for I actually took some of that, but let's see here. Let's see, where's the moon right now? Down there. So we want to stay away from there anyways. We want to go over to the east here. You want Stephan's quintet? They're pretty tiny as well. They're about as tiny as this guy. We could try it. M13 is kind of setting now. It's over here in the west. It's going to set below my horizon in a few minutes. I was doing that first. That was the first thing I went after was M13. But 7320 is in almost that meridian. That's the derelict, or that's the Stephan's quintet. That might be interesting to take a few shots of that. Let's try that. Actually, let's just do 7331 first. Yeah, we'll go one more minute on the cat's eye, and then we're going to head to 7331. $76.62. Let's take a look at what that is. The blue snowball, another tiny planetary. Let's see here. That field of view. How come I'm not getting that field of view that I want? That's pro. That's right. We're going to go after a galaxy, Dave. Blue snowball's pretty small as well. Yep, it's slowing now. The Deerlick group. It's got the big galaxy and several of what they call fleas, little galaxies. It's almost at meridian, so it's a good time to shoot it. Is this Wayne from the Seven Ponds Club? Wayne Z? I'll have to look at M15. Yeah, we were quite a ways off on that one. It just moved again, centering it. Gotta love automation. Let the system do the work. Let it look and find it and center it. Teehee. Gotten lazy in my 50-some years of doing this. Remember breaking my back star hopping back in the 70s. I'm glad you're joining us, Wayne. I need to have my happy voice on instead of my tired voice. But I am tired. We went over to my son's new place and helped them move stuff, moving in. They're moving into a new house. That was a couple hours today. Joy, oh joy. But I like helping them with whatever I can. Let's see here, 7331. Should be right there. And right there. Open that up, apply changes. Monitor, stack, and refresh. So I've slewed to that. Let's look at the plate solve while we're waiting for this. This is going to be a 5-minute initial shot. But the plate solve even shows that that's the central core of the 7331. So that's what it does. It takes a snapshot and compares it to the database. It was actually off over here, and then it moved it to here on the second pass. So it got there in 2 passes. That's the beauty of plate solving. It centers the objects for you. So you could be taking a nap, and it still is going to acquire data. For those that don't know, I put the system together 4 years ago with the plan of fully automating it so I could use all the clear nights here in Michigan that we might get even on weekdays while I was working, so I didn't have to stay up all night imaging and then go to work. I could stay up until 10:30, let it run until dawn, still be able to go to work the next day. Now I'm retired, I can stay up if I want, but I can still run the system by itself on its own all night long. So I've maximized our clear weather, basically, is what I've done with doing this. And that was the objective, fully automate it. It has automatically centers, automatically starts the auto guider, automatically focuses. I think I'll end my WebEx meeting. Nobody's joined that, so. Still should be, yeah. Just don't have my smiley face there anymore. At least I don't think you do. And I can set up a sequence to run like we're doing tonight through 6, 8, 10 objects. It's kind of fun to have it run through. I did one night, I did 6 or 8 A-bell clusters, and I only took like 30 minutes on each, or maybe an hour at the most. And in one night, I captured effectively, I don't know, 400 galaxies with eight A-bell clusters, something like that, something silly. And you can look for supernova if you do that. Keep doing the same once again. Look for supernova. I haven't been successful with that yet, but that's okay. If you don't look, you'll never find it. So that's part of the fun. All right, we got about a minute left, and the first image will be coming up here. I might drop this back to 3 minutes. Let's see what that looks like. Yeah, let me drop it back to 3 minutes. Take the first one, and then we'll do 3 minutes for that. I'm trying to remember if 5 minutes was too much or not. Yeah. Yeah, isn't networking technology great? Did you listen to any other talks tonight? I listened in on 3 or 4 different talks tonight before I got on. Kind of fun. You can sit here in the comfort of your home, and all right, let's see here. There's the central galaxy. Looks like it's processing the first one now. We'll see what it looks like in color. This is why it takes quite a bit of data to collect on some of these dimmer objects, because they are dim. I just did this one last week. While we're waiting for the first one to come in, I'll show you it. It's right here. This is the one I did last week. What we're on right now, 7331. This was 60. That was 5 hours. 5 hours of data right there. I just took that last week, the 21st, September 21st. Actually, it was last Monday. This is what we're on right now, but this is 5 hours of data collected back then on Monday up at near Gladwin. So that's what we're working on right now. And there's the first frame. And let's hit the auto expose and see what it does here. Takes a lot of data for these galaxies. Globular clusters are pretty quick, pretty easy. Well, that looks kind of bizarre. Huh. if I'm getting some strange artifacts or something. Oh, I don't have any darks on. That's one of the reasons why it's so noisy. Okay, that makes sense. I'm zooming out so that it doesn't look so silly. What I should do is bring my darks up here. Let me do that. Calibration files. I need my 3-minute ones. Oh, that John guy, he's just a visual guy. He dabbles on it. He looks over the fence to the dark siders from time to time. Astro Toaster's gone out to lunch. We have to restart it. And it happens sometimes. Let's close it. I'll restart it. It's doing weird things right now. M15, let's take a look at where that's at. Yep, that's the Perseus cluster. We could go after that. That would be a nice, easy one to do. Actually, I have that on the list. It's right here. It's already on the list. I just didn't go after it. So we can go and do that one. Yep. It'll be our next one. I don't think 7331's worth it actually going after anymore. Especially since this thing isn't even working right. So we're going to close this. And we're going to change this. See which one is it on. It's on number 4. We'll say 4. We'll stop at 4. And we'll go on to M13. Nice little globular. I mean M15. Globulars are always nice to look at, especially for an astronomy at the beach type event. But this galaxy, like I said, looks like this once you get some data on it. This is 5 hours. 5 hours of data on this galaxy. Turned out pretty nice. So we'll go after M15 now. It'll finish up here in about 1 minute for the 4th frame of this object, and then it'll slew automatically M15, the Perseus cluster. Pegasus cluster, sorry, Pegasus cluster. Ten more seconds, and then it's on to the next object. There it goes. You can actually see the moon in that observatory camera off to the right corner there. Okay, it's going to plate solve. This is a nice cluster, by the way. I don't need this up and running anymore. I can close this. Yeah, just leave it. Yep, you can see the cluster in the plate solve. It's off center, but it's in there, field of view. Right down here. So it's going to move the scope. Center it. Yeah, it was off 1,000 pixels, which is 500 arc seconds, approximately. I don't know why it won't let me grab that, but it won't. There you go, centered. It's going to start taking 30-second shots. Start the auto guider. Auto guiding is started. System still in focus. You notice in my guiding camera, I've got the cluster sitting right here as well. They're not quite the same field of view because this one's offset a little bit, but it's the same field of view in terms of size, so I can actually see the globular in the guide camera. The deck is guiding pretty good as the RA. It's wobbling around a bit. Yeah, a little problem with the RA, but we're taking quick shots. So there's M15. Bring up AstroToaster, see if I can get it to work again. Settings. Okay. Yeah, we'll take a look at it here in color. So I guess the short message is the dimmer the object, the longer data integration is required to pull it in. I mean that NGC object was 6 hours of data. It looks like my focus is getting out here. What's going on with this guy? This guy's being goofy. And my focuser is running amok here on me. Let me see if I can pick a better star for guiding here. Better signal to noise here. And it looks like I need to focus to move. Hmm. 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 Okay, focus has come in. SG Pro actually waited for the focuser to come in for it to continue, and now we just got a big spike on the deck, so it's going to throw that one out. Ooh, man. 9 pixels, or 3.8 pixels, which is about 6 arc seconds. And brought it back in. Okay. See what my color adjust is here. Bring this guy up here. Oh, we can see it. right, it's only going to stack those till now that we hit midnight. It's going to be a new folder. So, anyways, there's your M15. Colors are kind of goofy, but do the final processing out of the colors, be fine. What I use is the photometric color calibration tool in PixInsight to get my color balance on my stars. And if it's cloudy tomorrow night, what I'll do is I'll take all this data we collected tonight, and I'll run through some processing of the various pieces that we took tonight. Even though it wasn't a lot of data, we could still do some processing it. And I'll show how I do that with PixInsight and Deep Sky Stacker. So that might be what we'll do tomorrow night. It is. I could keep going if you folks want to keep going. Otherwise, we were scheduled to from 9:30 till midnight, and it's now midnight here. I'm good with going on if you want. You guys just let me know. And welcome to Astronomy at the Beach, the virtual event year. There's going to be lots of good talks tomorrow again. Some of the other main speakers will be talking tomorrow night that weren't on tonight. They'll be talking tomorrow night. Those should be really good. And again, a lot of the guys for the various people from the various clubs are doing live events or pre-recorded events throughout the evening. And I will be on again at 9:30 tomorrow night, rain or shine. If it's clear, we'll go after some different objects, maybe do some processing. Yeah, I know, John. um, or I can process some of the data we took tonight as well. The only other thing I could show you tonight is we can show you a portfolio from this week. Again, this is what I took last week at the Great Lakes Stargaze. This was the cocoon. And this was the iris. This was another processing of the iris core. This was the 891 galaxy. About an hour and a half on the crescent. The Deerlick group with NGC 7331. This is the first time I've done the bubble. And then this was the tulip. So if you folks are all set, I think we'll call it a night. I enjoyed doing this, and I hope you'll come and join on many of the talks tomorrow evening. That'll be happening, and I'll be on again at 9:30 tomorrow night. So take care. I think I'm going to sign off for tonight, and I hope you enjoyed it.